Way to tie it in. Angelo, take it away.
Ah, all right. Thanks, Matt. Hi, everybody. In South Africa, we say, how's it? As a greeting. So what I want to share, I'll just bring up my screen with you. And come on. Right, can everybody see my slides? Yeah, okay, great. Sorry. I've laid out some objectives and an outcome. There's about 4 objectives we're looking at: creating an awareness and sharing ideas. Matt, this is talking about your initiative that you've started or you've created here. 2, challenging mindsets and managing expectations, foster meaningful relations, and what aquatics looks like in Southern Africa. Our outcomes, this is what I'm hoping to achieve. Understanding roles and responsibilities, awareness of what is succession planning. Do you have it in place? What does it look like? And we're talking vertical and horizontal alignment. What do we need to strive towards? Continuous professional development, and in which areas? And then last but not least, develop our coping skills, work-life balance, and a growth mindset. Which one do you find yourself being, which position or which one are you? And this is a quick survey before we start doing a deep dive in that. Are you in your first year? Are you in your first year as an aquatics director, an athletics director, a swim coach, whatever? But you're mainly having to do a startup project. You're having to observe. You're having to start the trainer, even if you need to train yourself, train your students, train your coaches, and train the school in terms of what is it that you're coming in, what are you bringing in. You need to create an ethos. Is it an ethos relative to what you want, or is it in sync with the school's ethos as well?
Angela, let me interrupt just for a quick second there. It's projecting, but it is not progressing through the slide. So we're still on the 1, 2, 3, 4 objectives and outcomes.
Sorry. Let me just take you through that. Anything, is that better?
No change.
No change?
No change on my end. I may be speaking out of turn if anyone else can see anything different.
As well.
All right, let me take you back to slide 1. That is slide 1. Are we still okay?
No change. I'm going to stop sharing if you can reshare and see if that works.
Yeah, let's do that.
There we go.
Okay, what are we looking at, Matt? Sorry.
I believe it's slide 1, but it is in presentation form now.
I'm not able to see that. All right. Okay, so we got objectives outcome. Is that what we're looking at the moment?
It is.
I'm going to take you to slide 2. That one, which one are you? Is that working?
Good. Yep.
Great, thanks. Okay, there's a quick survey before we do a deep dive. This is what it looks like in your first year. You're having to do a startup project. You're having to observe, you're having to train, you need to create an ethos, not what you're bringing in, but you need to build it in terms of what is the school's ethos and what are the expectations. Moving to your third year, this is ongoing developments. You can obviously see the little man carrying his toolkit that is brought over from another school, things that is built on, that is added to his toolbox. And you having to continue to build sustainable programs. And then most probably this is where you start finding yourself in your fifth year, carrying on, fifth year plus. And here you're still having to maintain and tweak programs. This obviously you could fill out at a later stage. We can have a discussion about that. Some of us even is job searching at this stage because some of us hate maintaining, whereas others love startup projects. All right. I'm going to move on to slide 3. Sorry, Matt, are we okay with that? All right. This is part of our professional development. As an aquatics director, an AD, athletics director, I've kind of circled it in certain areas, and again, up to you to add in. I'm going to start on this one, courses and long-term participant or athlete development. Now, there's been extensive talk on LTPD by Taylor Smith and even James Lawless earlier on. And again, it's a work in progress. It's not one size fits all because we've got to be inclusive and have differentiated programs for that. But what is important is having to take on recognized international swim courses. Go outside of your zone and go and meet with other coaches, meet with what programs other international schools offer. This one is an extension on long-term participation athlete development. Let's see if that one works. Everybody see that screen? Okay. This is Matt, and again, you could share this with our community as another slideshow. This is really what LTPD is all about. It's long-term participant development. It was developed by Ifstan Bali, coaching educator, early 90s, early 2000s. And this is what it focuses on: physiological, cognitive, emotional development. As in the last 5 years, Swimming South Africa has taken this on as well and started implementing this as part of their continuous professional development. It's one thing that you need to have before you register annually. It gives you a whole long list, essentials for a healthy child development. The childhood, there's the 3 factors, which is active start, fundamentals, learn to train. What do we focus on as an adolescent? Train to compete, and then adulthood, train to win, and activities for life, or lifetime skills. They also focus on early specialization and late specializations. And for that, obviously swimming falls within that category. 10 key factors influencing that. There we have it. I'm not going to read through everything at this stage because this will be added as the recordings go out. 10 S's of training and performance. Building the pathways, and this again has been spoken extensively at length. Let me just stop that share there, and then I'm going to bring in my screen again. Sorry. Okay. Oh. Let me just show that one again. Sorry, are you on, we still on the professional development, Matt? Yes, okay. We're going on to safety. I've just completed my safe sport through Swim. A great course to do, where you do it annually so that you in tune with what is happening in the rest of the world as well. Minimal Touch, which is another great course. I know British Swimming Association, BSA, touches on that quite a bit. What is that really about? And I'm going to share that with you quickly. It speaks about when you're swimming on the back, where do you actually support a swimmer? Support it with a noodle, discs or armbands, supporting at shoulders, support at the head, support at hands and the head. We're moving into an era really where we need to be aware of where we're touching, where we're handling children, especially in child protection as well. So here's another part where we should not be touching on anybody for that matter, which is chest, torso, the hips, the waist, and the thighs. And the most important appropriate parts to handle anybody really is on the hands, the shoulders, and the head. Okay, I'm just going to go back to my SharePoint again. Anti-doping. How important is it for us to be aware or observe the behavior of our athletes when they're going into competition? What is allowed, what isn't allowed? Having coffee, having Red Bull, having all these energy drinks. Who's actually taking stock of that? Who's putting these things in place? So it's something that we need to start talking already at school level before they actually start going into your varsity or your colleges, possibly into clubs as well. So if clubs are not doing it already, the learning should start already at school level. Policies and procedures, lightning alerts. Who writes those policies? That is one of the tasks that I've initiated when coming in at AISJ, making sure processes, procedures, and guidelines are in place. They are documented and shared to as many of the administration as possible so that everybody understand this is the way we should be going. The new thing that has just hit all of us, who writes that for your center? COVID-19 guidelines. Are we copying and pasting it, or are we making the policies, the guidelines relevant to our aquatic centers or our pool environments? So there's a bit of tweaking, but it's something that we need to have documented as well and share extensively between PE and the athletics office, even management. Maintenance. Do you have an understanding of how the pool operates? Do you take courses just to keep yourself abreast in terms of pool maintenance, pool chemicals, pool equipment? How often at AISJ I test the pool 3 times a day? Not because I can, but it's important to offer quality water to our, not only our students, but the parents are aware that it is a safe environment. Again, then we move on to what is important in terms of our membership, annual membership, CPR, AED courses, police clearance when we're dealing with kids, and the Child Protection Act. Does your school have that in place, or your associations or your membership that you need to do an annual check on? That is also important. Again, these are things that we can discuss further. I'm going to go on to that next slide. Sorry, here we go. Awarenesses and challenges within our within our school community. We've got, these are the faces of either our parents, our staffing, our children, or even us as aquatic directors. You're not going to satisfy everybody all of the time, but this is what we're striving towards. We're striving towards everybody on board for the sake of our students. Understanding our parent community, it is a transient community, and they need to understand what the ethos of the school is. It could be a culture difference, and again, we need to satisfy certain expectations of that community coming in. Communication is vital. Building relationships, essential. Do we have recreational swimming that we offer? While we're a bit of a distance out of our communities, but if we don't have lifeguards on duty, but there's a Virgin Active or there's a Planet Fitness or a gym closer to their suburbs or the community where they live, allow them to go to those public or private gyms, because that means we're having to hire outside hires just to be able to lifeguard for certain hours of the day, and that is not beneficial to the school. So that is a conversation that we need to keep we need to keep with our parent community as well. Weather plays a very vital, important part in Johannesburg. There's certain times of the year where we experience lightning, and what do we offer if we are not able to be outside or in the pool at that time? That is something that we need to really research all the time and have a backup program for. And then again, expectations. What are the expectations of our parent community, and how do we satisfy that to a certain degree whilst holding on to the ethos of the school? I'm going to move over to our next slide. You might find at this stage there's a lot of color, there's a lot of pictures going on. I'm a visual learner. And for you sitting out there, if you've had slides previously, just talking and line by line, excuse me, but I'm sure I'd be challenging you at this stage. But nevertheless, we're on what does our aquatic environment look like? Awarenesses and challenges. This is me year on year. I'm sure this is the athletic director as well. This is what we're hoping to achieve. Absolute balance. This button here, purposely I've put it on. It's a power button, but also for me that speaks about, this is a touch point, and this is where I find myself. I'm a touch point to our community. Because I teach across divisions, elementary, middle school, and high school, I'm engaging with leadership principals in each of those divisions. I've got the AD, I've got the operations maintenance people, I've got the parents, I've got the students, I've got swim coaches, I've got the PE staff, I've got the outside hires. So at any one time, I've got straight lines, I've got dashed lines, I've got dotted lines, all having to manage that. And so in terms of my management skills, I've got to adjust accordingly as well. We're speaking about weather as a major challenge. What do we do here? We do dryland training. We have an effective system at least 10 minutes or even 5 minutes before. As soon as that lightning alarm goes off, we're out of the pool and we got a routine going. Resources, qualified swim teachers or coaches, facilities, equipment availability. AISJ is an international school running a northern curriculum in a South African environment that goes January through to December. Our programs does not fit in with the South African um, sporting environment. So we've got to chop and change as and when to be able to create an environment where our children are still challenged, we are participating and we're engaging all the time. We cannot just work in isolation. Having to find qualified swim teachers or coaches having to come in is a huge challenge for us, and that we're having to work through year on year, even season upon season. Understanding our transitioning school community, our school ethos, inclusive and differentiated programs. Big one for us in South Africa, school versus club understanding. We've had international school where an outside club comes in, runs the program, and we have a total different philosophy, and where the club pushes their ethos and the school pushes their ethos. This is absolute conflict. And again, it comes down to a club which I would say cannot dictate to a school, whereas, or in another way, the tail does not wag the dog. The school has the students, and the students have a choice of either swimming for the school or even for the club at the end of the day. This is what an aquatics program, our annual schedule, looks like. I'm just going to share this with you. All right. I've managed to document it over a period of time. This is, so what I do is during the school day, which is 75% of my time, I'm involved in the PE Aquatics program. So we start August 28th. We've got a high school PE Aquatics program. Then we move for the next 4 weeks into elementary school program. Sorry, can you see the spreadsheet? Yes, okay. And then following on that, for the next 5 or 6 weeks, we go into middle school program. That's season, sorry, if we go, I'm going to move over to this side a bit. And then part of that program is after school, where we go swim academy season 1, and it's continued for about 7 to 8 weeks. We go back into semester 2, which is kind of after your December break. And there again, we go a middle school for 6 weeks, followed by the high school for another 5 or 6 weeks, followed by the elementary school, all the way, and we work our program right up to almost the beginning of January. Part of that, we continue with a swim academy or a season of swim academy 2 or season 2, followed by a season 3. In all of that time, what am I involved in? I'm busy during that time. Straight after our school day of PE, we continue with the swim academy, and then our main season for junior and senior swim team is, let me just double check there. That would be our November through to end of January program with our main junior and senior swim team. During that time, and I know a lot of you relate to that as well, if you don't have help, there is the administration on the side that happens during the day, which is lesson planning, coaching, staff training, meetings, daily, weekly, monthly, vendor supplier management, maintenance, coordinating curriculum schedules, communication, what are the visions and the goals for that year. We've got in-service training, coaches, lifeguards, faculty, safety and security, setting and maintaining aquatic standards and policies. And this is the ease of doing work or business, which is people, processes, systems and governance that is important that everybody needs to know about. I'm just going to stop that share. Okay, we're back on the main share again. All right. That program I kind of tweak year in, year out. So that was a 2016, 2017. We're now into 2021, which looks totally different as well. This is what our vertical and horizontal alignment looks like. This is our roadmap. And again, this is part of succession planning. You could see the arrows going from the top: elementary school, middle school, high school. There's our vertical alignment. Again, we try and inculcate as much as the long-term participant development, where we do the active start and fundamental skills, water safety, buoyancy, streamlining, diving, underwater games, crawl, keep. And here the emphasis is on going deep. What is deep? Deep is demonstrating, explaining, showing an example, and P is practicing. Middle school, again, the approach is at reinforcing and introducing start and fundamentals, learning to train and train to train. We focus again on water safety, at least 3 strokes, invasion games, and snorkeling. And the last one, high school, the approach is aimed again at reinforcing and introducing learn to train to train, water safety, the 4 strokes, invasion games, snorkeling, synchronized swimming, CPR, AED, lifeguarding, and swim coach mentoring. As much as this is what we do, where does horizontal alignment fit in? Because at any division, there is an exit strategy that we try and close in our swimmers in completing a certain water skills. Because if our kids in elementary leave there and they go to another international school, they should be on par with that skill level. Same with middle school, same with high school. And in so doing, our succession planning here is, if we've got in our after school, in our swim academy, if we're bringing in outside hires or even the PE teacher, our learn to swim coach should be able to identify what she's been reinforcing in the kids: buoyancy, streamlining, breathing. If she can focus on that in the learn to swim, he or she should be able to see that in our top swimmers. Likewise, our top coach coaching our senior squads should be able to move all the way down through stroke development right into learn to swim and be able to teach that skill in learn to swim as well. So what we should have is vertical alignment again. Our top coach shouldn't only be coaching at the top levels. He should be able to coming down to learn to swim, helping that learn to swim coach if possible, because that's the skill he wants to identify in our top swimmers. So it works both ways. Again, succession planning. If you're in your first year, second year, third year, and you're working on your own, if you're absent for any one of those days, or you've gone on a course, international course, or on a camp, who fills your position? Is there a handover? And that is important that we need to look at. There needs to be a handover procedure. You need to be raising up the next person as well. Swim conferences. AISJ is involved in international competition, local competition, and swim clinics. We have what we called International School Southern East Africa Swimming Competition. This has been going on for the past 7 years. It is an amazing initiative that has been started by 8 schools: American International School, Kenya, the International School of Kenya, International School of Tanganyika, ICS, which is Ethiopia, Uganda, International School Uganda, American International School of Mozambique, American International School of Lusaka, HIS, which is Harare International School, in Johannesburg. If I've left anyone up, but we'll put it in the slide as well. Those are the 8 schools that comprises of ICEA swimming. Not only ICEA swimming, but they go into different top sports like the soccer, the rugby they've started as well. They've got volleyball, they've got basketball. So we've got a conference that has almost been duplicated like the IASs or the conferences that is out in the East. The ICEA swimming has been taken and adapted over a period of time from the IASs model, which is great for us. I just want to share with you a quick video of what ICEA swimming is all about. Can you see that slideshow? Yep, okay.
Babe, don't make a sound. 2 a.m. love, gotta keep it down. Don't wait around for a signal now. Give me some verb, I ain't talking down. You wanna ride in the 6, you wanna dine in the 6. But when I lean for the kiss, you said I'll probably send you some pics. And I'm like, hell nah, been waiting too long. Hell nah, I want that cruel love. Hell nah, been waiting too long. Hell nah, I want that cruel love. Body of my, losing all my innocence. Yeah, body of my, finding all my innocence. Yeah, body of my, losing all my innocence. Yeah, body of my, finding all my innocence. Yeah, body of my, losing all my innocence. Yeah, body of my, finding all my innocence. Yeah, body of my, losing all my innocence. Yeah, body of my, finding all my innocence. Yeah, all my, all my, all my, all my sins. Yeah, all my, all my, all my, all my sins. Yeah, all my, all my, all my, all my sins. Yeah, all my, all my, all my, all my sins. Babe, just hit the pedal. If things go wrong, it's just incidental. My bad, never got the memo that you never have fun while you're in the limo. Yeah, you wanna ride in the 6, you wanna dine in the 6. And when I lean for the kiss, you said I'll probably send you some pics. And I'm like, hell nah, been waiting too long. Hell nah.
And we're back on my slide there. We've got the AIJ Invitational as well. I just want you to have a look at what our records look like. And again, many of you can, let me just see if it's, all right, we're not going to get there, so let me just close that one. Just so that we have an invitational as well that we host, and we've got the mostly non-ICEX international schools or even local schools that come around that we host. We've got a non-ICEA event, SISA, Southern Africa International Schools Association, that we also are part of, that have been started 2 years ago. We're also involved with local primary and high school leagues in South Africa that we try and do. We've got clinics that we organize. That's our the only female breaststroke holder Olympian, that is Penny Haynes, that comes out to host our clinics for us. We've got another Olympian, Susan van Biljon, that comes out and hosts clinics for our kids. which is great for our kids to be able to see what an Olympian looks like. This is just a brief in closing of what our facilities looks like. Just a big thank you to everybody. I'm going to stop the share there. If you have any questions, please feel free. I know it was a lot to take in. I'm going to look at the chats.
Angelo, that's a beautiful facility you guys have. In terms of the maintenance, I think that anyone on this call, as I have transitioned from purely aquatics to more of an AD role, and then in the last year because of COVID into kind of a school-wide leadership role, I think that something you pointed out is so huge, and that is that as aquatics professionals, we're maybe the only or one of few people on school that are dealing with kids in every single section across every single age across our programs. And I think that's a real value that we bring to the programs. One of the things that I was curious about is how that maintenance side of your facility, how does that fall onto your shoulders? Do you have a team working? How do you support that?
Matt, really, I manage it to a great extent, having to have in-depth knowledge about how the operations work in that pump room. As a backup, we need to know the back office things. So we don't have, if we don't have regular maintenance or operational guys on here, you're having to train up and allow for at least 4 to 6 weeks of them understanding that system. So if all else fails, you've got to jump in and do the hard work.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Any other questions?
But a lot of the things that I've didn't add into the portfolio or the folder that you have you can just send it on to them, Matt, and they'd be able to
Great.
just kind of figure it out as well.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Angelo. Nice to have some representative from outside of Asia. I think the rest of us all fell into Asia, so I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right.